Hey everybody, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is the HPS update, midweek update, market radar. Actually going into Friday, shortened week. Normally we do it on Wednesday, but it's Thursday night, and it's kind of a little shortened week. But some interesting action on some stocks. I want to bring those to your attention. We'll first start off with the S&P 500. Now, there's not much going into this. It is, you could see the consolidation here. I mean, it's a really good view of what's going on. The tight, small range, sideways consolidation. We did pull back. We pulled up. We're not doing much. I mean, it is definitely a drag. And, the breakout of this range to the downside or to the upside doesn't mean much because, this tight of a consolidation tends to have this kind of sometimes a fake out, breakout move. Either a breakout and a reversal, or a breakdown and a reversal higher. So I don't go into the first move, but it's good to have this type of consolidation with all the events that are going on. We're coming up to the election. We still have the Fed rate overhanging us. The market's been holding up pretty good. So, still pushing, I still think this market has more upside. Question is, there a small little dip before we get that upside. Like I said, this type of tight sideways consolidation usually could see a little dip down in a reversal and push back up. It's a very strong pattern, and but that's something harder to predict. We're doing great on individual stocks. We'll talk about those. Here's your 60-minute time frame, and I think that's a little bit more bullish. We have this bigger channel. We have the channel breakout and the retracement. So we have that 60-minute rotation here. We haven't gotten all the way back into an oversold level, but you can see there's definitely a tighter channel here, and this is typically a bullish scenario. Now it's Friday tomorrow. It's rollover. It's we'll be starting a December contract. It is September. Volume should start picking up, but Fridays are a little bit different. But next week we should start to roll into it and have some really hopefully get a breakout of this level one way or another. But it's hard to predict that. Not going to go into predicting if that's going to happen or not. I will predict some stocks though. I mean, today, the last couple of days, we've been crushing it. We'll start off. Where do we even start here? So many good stocks. We happen to get into Chipotle Mexican Grill right here, probably around 409. I think it was 409. We took it off at 420 and change. What was it we get out on that? 420 something. We got 20 points on it for whatever it was. We got 20 points on it. So it was 429. We got out 429, 430. We just nailed it perfect. Beautiful gap up, big stake being taken by I think it's Pershing Square or one of the big hedge funds, Ackman, I believe, taking 10%. And that's we just happened to get. But overall, the reason we got into this was, we follow a stock like this. We see the divergence. I saw a nice divergence here. We had a nice pullback from that divergence, and that was why we got into it. Nice pullback, and that on the 60-minute time frame also gives us an entry back here. So this is where we got in because of that 60-minute rotation, underlying trend line of a 1-2-3 pattern. We just happened to catch it lucky, and boom, and we're out of it. Now we've been getting into a lot of stocks over the last couple of days, and I want to go over those, and because they're just good setups. We're going to start talking about the broadcast companies. We have a nice divergence here. Nice move today. We got in it, closed on the highs. Everyone's making some money on that. There's other ones. I have my notes. I'm doing at the home office now, but there is a lot of setups that we are taking profits in. American Express starting to break out. Started taking some profits on that today. See if we get a little bit more follow through on that. American Express. Some other good ones here. Oh, Disney, DIS. What I like about Disney, it does fall into a divergence category. It's not a typical divergence. We like to see that higher low above that 20 line, but we actually start to see that dip in the reversal candle as this points up, and it's lower than the previous low here. So there is a mathematical divergence, and you could really see it here clear as you took out the previous low, and you reversed good on the candle. Everything here looks like a good follow-through day. The volume was up, so we took a position today on that, closed on the highs of the session, looking pretty good for that. Just, this is what you want to be part of. If you're not part of it, you're not going to see these good opportunities. And you don't have to be in the markets every single day to profit from it. You have to understand the methodology. Take your position. Again, it's not something required to be watching it right day by day, minute by minute. But a great candle break oversold level is normally going to give you an upside. And any stock we look at, and any stock I describe and go through and educate on, usually has a similar characteristic, common denominator. Be it the rotation of momentum, shifting back up. It's always better to have those stocks going in the direction. Technical levels, support, divergences are very important, and recognizable patterns. So all those, we combine them. When they all match up and line up, we call it an HPS, and we get the position, we get the results. And that's what we specialize in. So we are starting to see a lot of those setups coming around. So Disney here, first position today on that type of setup. We had a couple other positions today. Those are going out to members. Let me see if I could dig them up here. Where is it? Let me see what I have here. Now, if you look on the, if you log in here, I'm going to log into the site. Normally, you're looking at the site. That's what's going on right now. Got a little futures overhead, a little music. This is the outside if you're not a member. You could get a 14-day trial here. $9.95. Check it out. Check out that. But the important thing is when you log in and you are a member, boom, check out what you get. We're going to bring you to a whole new section of the site. Now this is our dashboard, and we have all our trade alerts, all our news, all our bots here. You'll get the alerts. You could identify them. Here's our trade alert, HPS alerts. The trade alerts. So we got into Disney, we sold the American Express. We bought Apple today. The the Darden restaurants have been added to that. And all these will get delivered to you. All these are actually automated onto the dashboard. So as a member, you automatically, when we get an alert, send out an alert, you don't even have to be looking at the dashboard. This dashboard is attached to your email, attached to your text if you want. You just go up here to your alert manager. You could get any of these alerts anywhere you want to go, even on your cell. It's really just a great system. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And again, I want to put this video out to the public. Talk about tomorrow's Friday. Paul's going to be on the air, and going into next week, I can tell you right away, Gilead is one of the drugs. It's basically about the drugs now. I like the rotation. I feel the drugs are ready to rally. So I'm kind of, making that call. We continue to add to Gilead this week. I think there's other great setups in the drugs, the CELG, the Amgen, the Biogen, you name it, Eli Lilly, even the Bristol Myers BMY, which has been crushed recently, is now right off of this trend line and is actually giving us a divergence setup. So there is a lot of good drug stocks down here that have been just pulling back. I want to focus on Gilead in general, in particular, and just use this as an example of as an election. And again, I talk about this on the radio too. I do feel like the upcoming election and the policies of both candidates will affect certain sectors in the market. In this case, I know that Hillary Clinton was really coming down hard on some of the pharmaceutical stocks, the drug companies, prescription medicine, cancer drugs. The pricing is, that's been in the news, and it's been put a lot of pressure on these drug stocks. They've just been in a bearish trend for almost the last year and a half, or going on 2 years. It's been a down. I mean, we've had our February to May nice little rally. This one from 82 to 100. I mean, you get some good moves, but the majority of the time it's been down, and a lot of people are still not really comfortable with them. I'm comfortable at this point here. We got the rotation back here. The last time we had some good rotation. This one didn't really get a big follow through, but it gave us enough to understand that, hey, whatever that was, it did measure it out. It did rotate, and it told us it was a little overextended, and it did pull back from that level. Versus here, where we're oversold in a divergence, we got a much better, bigger move here. We got a nice little move up here. And again, when you have the divergence, or you used to have the momentum on your side, you're looking for this. But I like Gilead. I think we have a great day tomorrow on Gilead. I think we have a follow-through day. If you take a look at that daily, starting to turn up. We have a trend line. Are we going to get above these trend lines? Yeah, I think we get above 81 very quickly. Next week, I could see us getting back above 82, maybe breaking this trend line. Now, I have options that expire going out next week. Hopefully we get a nice move tomorrow and we could actually start taking some profits on it. But I still think that this will be a tradable stock going into next week, any way you want to look at it. The Bristol Myers, again, we mentioned that one. I want to pass on that right now. BIIB is another one, which it's one of the stronger best of breed stocks, which is consolidated now. But there is other stocks that have been kind of just lagging and dragging, like this one over the last, and this is what I'm really looking at, is this last month area. Now here's CELG also in that situation where you have that recognizable channel, lower trend line, oversold momentum starting to move back up. And again, imagine getting into a stock at 107 and taking it to 112 or get a 5-point move on it. You don't have to be buying hundreds of shares on this. But even if you bought 50 shares and you get 5 points over the next week, that's an additional, it's a nice $250 little bonus on a pretty decent setup. So easily you could get that on a short-term trade as long as you're taking your trade at the right time. Now, always talk about news and the potential of news. So that's always a disclaimer. If there's any news out there, you can't predict that. But other than that, you can see how this reacts. This is a beautiful divergence here. Beautiful divergence here. Nice move up. Beautiful divergence. Not a divergence here, but trend line and some other things working for us. It doesn't always have to be a divergence. Here was a nice little channel line, a pullback, and a nice move up. So just look with the logical approach to the markets and surround yourself with great stocks. Being on the right side of the trade. Disney. We talked about Disney, big reversal candle, looking at that. There was a couple other ones here. I'm going to give you another good divergence that came up on a divergence scan. I think I have a divergence scan here. Let me see. Approaching potential divergence. PEG, I believe it was, yes. Now, take a look at this. This is quite interesting. Nice candlestick. Volume was okay. Last time we had divergence, we had a nice little day that popped up here, and then you take it off. It's been chopping around. But remember, our trades are recognized by reversal candles, divergences, and then the directional trade until you get a full rotation. The full rotation, again, some of this might be too complicated for some of the beginner traders, but we're just talking about a rotation between our stochastic oscillator from oversold to overbought. And it's just, it's a very simple way of approaching the markets and very simple way of taking profits and not getting too emotional. This is a business. This is a high probability zone. Want to be able to give you a good opportunity to make some money off of this and get out and not stress. So, high reward, low risk, high probability setup, a detailed, criteria of why we're looking at this and why we're in some of these stocks. They all have usually they all have a similar setup here. Now, Kroger's interesting because it did gap down and closed a little bit, closed back up a little, but you can see we didn't turn back over. I'm not 100% on this, but I definitely think it's worth watching the Kroger. And I mentioned today also on the shows here, I'm kind of bearish on the department stores. I'm just not liking them. Macy's. Not that I could predict the downfall of going to the mall and not just, it's just so easy now to buy things on Amazon, and I just don't see there's there's a future for some of these. Even, I used to love Bed Bath & Beyond, and I was going there. I was like, any of these, I could buy a spatula online in 15 seconds. But look at all these. Look at these things. This is a trend, and this is probably going to continue. I don't think there's no miracle savior of some of these brick and mortar buildings. There's a Christmas season coming up and stuff, but Amazon is going to steal the thunder from all these stocks. Unless there's something else out there. I'm just not a big fan of retail, and I think there's actually a short to be had on a lot of these. Just go right down the line to Macy's, to Kohl's, to Bed Bath & Beyond, to Best Buy, to even some of the high-end retails like Tiffany, Abercrombie and Fitch. This is even pulling back. So even though this is a nice pullback, and you probably could get a decent day trade off of it, have no desire. I think there's some shorts here in this market, especially in the retail. But I don't know if that's the trade I want to take. I have too many good setups here that are working right now. The drugs, I want to be focused on those going into next week and especially tomorrow. So keep it tuned to Day Trading Radio. I hope this update helps, especially with your stocks and the overall view of the market. Like I said, it's not much here other than a good consolidation, and well, even how we had good consolidation back here, like I said, it could break down. It could easily just break down. If you take a look at this, it was just very interesting. This is the last time we had this consolidation. This June, July, August consolidation. We tightened up here. Look what happened in September. Boom. Well, right at the end of August. Boom. It dropped out. And then eventually moved back up, dropped back down eventually. Not trying to get... I still say we're going higher, but there is the potential of a little breakdown. I don't know if there's news out there that's going to bring us that, or bring us to the upside. I mean, everyone's waiting for further stimulus out of Japan or China. Everyone's looking for stimulus. Europe, the EU, just get the helicopters out, and you don't hate it. Don't hate the messenger. And enjoy it. Enjoy the stability. Easy pickings here. I mean, you could just go to Google and just buy Google, and probably you're going to do pretty good. Apple, we started Apple again today. We said we're going to wait until it comes down to about 105. Apple events out, nothing great about it, but the valuation on Apple looks good, and the longer term downtrend here looks also good. We consider we kind of broke out of that, and there's some other things here that we have lining up for you. But I do have a lot of other ones that we're going to be getting out tomorrow on the official HPS watch list of members. This is a little preview, and maybe it helps you out tomorrow. I'll see you in the markets. DayTraderRadio.com on 24/7. You actually tune in right now on the radio or on the show, DayTraderRadio.com, and you can see the futures here. It's down slightly. Not much though. I mean, if we're flat pretty much. Tradeometer kicking butt again though, and the Tradeometer has been doing well overnight. So you can even follow that Tradeometer overnight. A couple other stocks. Let's just go over a couple more. And there was a couple other ones I like. The PSA is interesting down here, and the CVS actually. Underlying trend line push it up. It's an interesting candle. I'll be watching these the last couple of days, but definitely the Gilead and the drugs. I think we have a decent rally in the drugs. I'm not saying we're going to concentrate on the IBB or one of the sector, but that's one of the ETFs that you could look how organized this is. Big channel. We held that channel. We broke out. Now this is a retracement. Everything is basically textbook on this. When you break out of a trend, a downward trend, you get that new trend developing. Your first pullback usually is what we call this pullback is usually a big area to buy. It's called channel breakout stochastic rotations. An HPS video. It's on your dashboard under the forum, and and again, this type of setup right there. If you go to your dashboard, you go up here, and this is for all the newer members out there. You go to your forum here or the playbook. These list all the strategies that we use, and playbook how to trade the base. A lot of ES stuff here, talking about the divergences. Walk through all the divergences. There's a lot of stuff here, but we even have the channel breakout stochastic rotation. And as you can see, there's a video talking about that same type of setup, the channel breakout, the first rotation, and how you buy into that. And it goes into some good details. This is an old one. I need to update this a little bit more, but I talk about it all the time. But that's where you'd find all those videos. I would definitely check those videos out. They're exclusive to the members of Day Trading Radio. So this is really pretty good. We have our channel breakout, our first stochastic rotation. This is a setup. It's an HPS setup. That's the IBB. That's the ETF. So you can even go there with the ETF, and you can trade the options on this too. So I like it. I'll probably look into this a little bit more tomorrow, just for a basket of stocks. And when we talk about ETF, exchange traded fund, it's a let me go into a little bit more detail on this. It's hot down here. Hot down in the dungeon today. Let me see if I could find. I wanted to find the holdings on this. Here we are, top holdings: Amgen, Biogen, CELG, and Gilead. So these are some of the top holdings. So this is an ETF that holds these biotechs, and as you can see, these are the weighted. So if you get a nice move in Amgen and Biogen and CELG and Gilead, you expect the IB to actually move good too. So actually, this has good potential to move. Especially if any of these stocks here catch any good news, it could lift it could lift this. It doesn't even have to be all of them. This is like, spreading your chips across the board, across the roulette table, and that ball is eventually going to hit one of these stocks, and that's going to pay off pretty good. The weighted average, the weight to this is going to move that ETF, even without some of the other stocks needed to do that. So it's an interesting concept. Here's the IBB one more time. Very easy, very organized. Doesn't, tell me a logical reason not to be in here at this point. Nice pullback, oversold, bounce, oversold, bounce, divergence, bounce, overbought, pullback, overbought, pullback. Look where we are right now. Everything here looking good. Other than any kind of event that moves the market artificially outside the range of technical analysis, this is good to go. This will be a focus next week. Have a great one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.